My buddy just upgraded from a 718 GT4 RS to this 2022 992.1 GT3 Touring with a 6-speed manual transmission. And the question I have today is, was this really an upgrade or a side grade? Because the GT4 RS is going for about $200,000 on the used market today, whereas a GT3 Touring, this example, was just purchased for $280,000. We're of course powered by the same GT3 engine that's in the GT4 RS as well as here. That's a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6, making 502 horsepower, 346 pound-feet of torque with a 9,000 RPM redline. He's optioned for the 6-speed manual. We have an electronically controlled LSD in the rear. The manual weighs in at 3,126 pounds. You pay about a 40-pound penalty to go with the PDK. And we have a 96.7-inch wheelbase. With the 992 generation, we finally get double wishbone in the front on the GT3s, and we still have multi-link in the rear, electric power steering, and of course, rear axle steering comes standard. In terms of wheels and tires, we have 20-inch in the front, 21 in the rear, wrapped in Cup 2 tires with a 255 section width front and a 315 in the rear. The car overall is completely stock. Original MSRP for these was at $161,000, but now the current market value is between $230,000 to $320,000, which is of course heavily dependent on whether you get manual versus PDK, the paint to sample, the mileage, whether it has buckets or not. This one actually comes with the sofas because this is actually my buddy's daily and street car. He will occasionally track it, but I think for a primarily street-driven car, the GT3 Touring makes a lot of sense because you no longer have the big wing, you have the front bumper that's now painted the same body color. It's a little bit more understated, and in this spec with the silver on the black interior, I think it's very classy and makes a lot of sense. I'm very happy for my buddy, if you can't already tell. And getting into the interior, the 992 is a familiar place. I love that you went with the manual. That was the right call. And with the 992.1, we still retain the analog tack, which I think just looks so classy. And with the .2s, they went with full digital. I think that was a mistake. The analog tack and digital on the side clusters there, I think is the right move. Really nice seating position. Dude, it's so funny to me that you, at like 7 inches shorter than me, still have the steering wheel all the way telescoped out.
I like it up close, man.
Dude, that just means that it's not like, it just means that the manufacturers aren't giving us enough telescope. Is all that means.
I could probably be fine with it being right here, to be honest with you.
Fair. All right, so we are in Sport, which has been configured. You can actually customize that, both Sport and Track. So as you can see here, we have auto blip disabled. We're gonna have PASM off. We have the Porsche Sport exhaust engaged. Get my mirrors.
FAL's right here.
All right, we got front axle lift, of course, very important. All right, first time driving this, and my buddy was telling me that the clutch is a bit challenging, so we're gonna be patient with me if there's a bit of a learning curve. Now lower it. I mean, first impressions, this is definitely sharper and sportier than a regular 911, but looking at it and getting behind the wheel, is it stiffer and more sporty than a regular, 911 or a T or an S or a GTS? Yes, of course. Oh, delicious, delicious throttle response. I'm so stoked for you. This is awesome. So good, dude. So good. This engine is such money. A proper GT3 engine, the way it howls, it's a lot more clean and symphonic and more classical in terms of the way that it revs up versus the GT4 RS, where you have so much induction note front and center. And with PASM off, I mean, the compliance is great. I know that as we get to some of the bumpier sections and the twistier sections, we're going to want PASM engaged. And the newer generation PASM versus older gen, like 997s and even 991s, at least the .1 versus the .2, it's so much improved. You have such beautiful compliance and fast response from the dampers. Already you can feel a little bit more of the road surface, but not in a punishing way. Dude, the brakes have this beautiful solidity to them. Steering incredibly sharp, and actually getting a bit of feedback too. Just like the GT4 RS, very sharp steering. Oh, but that rear engine balance, it adds another dimension. As you get on the throttle, you can feel it really squat, all that traction in the rear. You can feel it just wriggle around right there. Yeah, you can, it's subtle, right? Especially in the 992, that rear engine feel is more and more subtle with each generation. But versus the GT4 RS, you do feel that rear engine balance. Whereas in the GT4 RS, the engine is between the two axles. And it's a little bit, it rotates more around you. Here you can feel more of that rear engine balance. And there's pros and cons to that. When you start pushing the car harder, you have to be more mindful for the rear end to not come around. But in these newer generations, they're so easy to drive that even if you trail brake pretty aggressively into a decreasing radius corner, it's not going to swing around on you as readily as something like a 997 or a 996. Really love the inputs here. Such a responsive engine. And as soon as we got in, we're not really struggling. There's a couple shifts here and there that aren't quite perfect, but in terms of the learning curve, not much of a learning curve at all in terms of rev matching and just the naturalness of the inputs. Like, all this is with the rev match disabled. And the actual shifter here is pretty tight. There's a good amount of tilt to it, which is more of a personal preference thing. But a nice crisp delineation between gates. Medium effort, not super high. One thing that I love about modern Porsches is that the input calibration is second to none. Everything works so harmoniously. The steering weight, it is a bit on the faster side, but I'm really just nitpicking. The steering, the brake firmness and immediacy, and just that pinpoint precision in terms of modulation, how easy and natural the manual transmission is to use. It all just comes together so beautifully. The brakes, they're so good. Nice little double clutch, super smooth, just slots in buttery, doing the synchros work for it. Wow, I'm a fan. I am a fan. Is this an upgrade compared to a GT4 RS? Well, before I answer that, let me give you a poll. More than 500 horsepower at 3,100 pounds is a very nice and healthy power to weight ratio. Now versus the GT4 RS, the first thing is obviously you can get a manual here. You can't get a manual with the GT4 RS. The engines are the same. Oh, love that, man. It's so dynamic. You can really feel through the chassis exactly what's happening, and with the throttle really modulate that front end. You don't have to be quite as patient versus the GT3s before, because there's no strut suspension in the front. It's double wishbone, better contact patch, right? As you get compression, it doesn't just have that inconsistency. But it's still not a car that's like too easy to drive, as many people say. It still rewards that understanding of just vehicle dynamics. Nice compression there, one and done. I like the damping of this quite a bit. For those who've been watching this channel, this road has been featured many times out here near Las Vegas, and this new pave, this is the first time I'm driving it since the repave, and it's absolutely glorious. It's such a better road now. So going back to the conversation about the GT4 RS, this is much more streetable. It is more compliant. It is more comfortable. The induction note isn't quite as crazy, right? You don't have the intakes. You can hear more of the exhaust. Oh, beautiful. You can just feel the rear end right there. Why to help me rotate the car just to that little bit more slip angle. Just the hint, just telling me almost start to maybe neutral steer a bit. It's communicating that to me in a way that makes this car easier to drive, and it increases your confidence. And you can really lean on the front end. We're going downhill here, getting on the front. Don't have to worry about it washing out. Show braking, you can feel the rear end wanting to come out just a bit. Just again, the hint. We're not pushing it hard enough to actually need traction control at this point. But as we're playing with the car, it is very willing to communicate with us and tell us what's about to happen. You can get up to that limit right before it breaks traction, and it tells you that quite clearly. Now the steering in this example is actually really good. The ratio is just a touch faster than I would like, where it feels a little bit on the darty side. I'm getting a decent amount of feedback. I would say it's, you know, comparable, maybe a little bit less than some of the 991.2 GT3s I've driven. Definitely less than the 991.2 GT3 RS that I've reviewed on the streets. You guys may have seen my Sonoma track review of a 992 GT3 RS. That one had the Manti alignment kit, and that made the steering feel quite light, off-center, and darty. This one doesn't have that same issue. It has more consistent weighting. The actual weighting of the steering rack as well, I find it very, I guess not surprising that Porsche doesn't actually let you modulate the steering weight, because they just use precision to get it right the first time, rather than giving you 3 different steering weights. It just feels right. Nice medium weighting. Truly brilliant inputs. But the biggest thing, going back to the GT4 RS conversation, is actually suspension. Because here, when you have, like, strut suspension is actually load bearing. So even with really good quality dampers and good design, you do pay a slight penalty in terms of the ride comfort. So part of it is going to be the stiffness of how stiffly sprung a car is, and the damping and such. Part of it is also just the suspension architecture. So ride quality here is substantially more compliant and more comfortable. Even with PASM on, I'm finding it to not be punishing at all. Now that it's off, it's going to be a little bit more compliant, a little bit more comfortable as we're dialing things back. But the more important thing I would argue is if you're pushing the car hard, you do feel a difference in terms of the stability and predictability of the front and rear axles when you have double wishbone and multi-link as you do in this car versus in a GT4 RS where it's strut all around. And, you know, if you're not feeling that difference, you're probably not getting to the limit of the car. Once you do reach that limit, it is quite notable. And one of my buddies was speaking with a Porsche factory driver and asked him at point blank, hey, what do you think of the GT4 or the GT4 RS? And the factory driver wasn't allowed to say anything negative, but he made a face and some hand motions that also signaled essentially what I'm telling you here. And I think if you drive one on track, you're going to notice a difference. But on street, that difference is more subtle because you're not going to be getting to the limit of the car in the same way as on track. Although on certain corners, you may dance with the limit a little bit, and then you will notice the suspension limitations as well. But it's more of that ride comfort that you're going to notice on the street. The interior, I think, in both cars is excellent. I do think the 911 interior is a little bit more my speed and my taste. It feels a little bit more, you know, upscale and polished in the design, but that's really splitting hairs. I think both of them have fantastic interiors. This one, of course, has the sofas. My buddy's GT4 RS had the carbon buckets, which is more of a choice of how sporty, aggressive, track focused you want to be versus daily drivable. Getting in and out is a lot easier with the sofas. The only thing that I have a hang up on, though, is the price, because $280,000 is a ton of money. That's an extra $80K over what GT4 RSs are going for on today's market. Now you can, again, there's a range to the 992.1 GT3 Touring prices, but it is a lot of money. And the question is it worth that price? I think we're now starting to get to a level where cars from other manufacturers do make a more compelling argument. You're looking at things from McLaren and Ferrari, and you know, when you look at these used examples, you can get a lot of car for almost 300K, but Porsche inputs, Porsche reliability, Porsche does a lot of things right, and these cars, at least so far, if you look at current and historic GT3s, they hold their value so well. Now, I have driven some other examples of GT3 on the street, a 992.1 GT3 and also a 992.2. Those were on different roads, different setups. I don't recall what the tires were, etc. The first impression I had the first time I drove one was that it is so confident, so good, but almost a little bit clinical and numb. Here, I'm not having the same critiques. I'm not sure how much of that is me adjusting to what the 992 is about, and how much of that is the setup, right? Because I feel like I have more through the steering here, significantly more than I actually had in that first 992 that I ever drove, the white one, which you can find linked below. So you gotta keep in mind that there are some setup differences, tires, alignment, etc. But I do not feel like this was a numb or overly clinical driving experience. I felt like it actually kept me engaged. I did have to push it quite a bit to get that engagement and that dynamic nature, because when you're driving quite a bit below the limit, you know, unless you're wringing out the engine, it can feel almost too good. But when you start pushing it a bit harder, you start getting to 7/10, it does come alive in that way. But my friends, let me know what you think of the GT3 Touring. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on JubbalandCars.com. This road out here near Las Vegas is now repaved. I'm very excited to review more cars here, because in the past it was always a bit of a, you know, a bit of a chore driving this road since it was in such terrible condition. But now, excited to drive and review more cars out here. So visit the website, fill out the form. I'll be in touch. Much love, and I'll see you all in the next one.